What do an electrical engineer, Brexit, and the Wheel of Time have in common? Let's find out. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Jose here, welcoming you to another episode of Amazing Worlds, where today I am reviewing The Great Hunt, Book 2 in the Wheel of Time series, in this read-along that I am doing with a few other like-minded crazy individuals out there. But before I start, we need to take a moment here. We have lost John. In our read-along, John from Hey You All Listen Up was lost to the cause after Eye of the World. So let's take a moment here for John. But the show must go on. The show must go on. We must continue. We shall proceed. So, Great Hunt, Book 2 in the Wheel of Time series, 14-book series, epic, sprawling, originally published in 1990 by Robert Jordan, not his real name, again, not here to tell you who Robert Jordan was. So, what I'm going to do, because I've received some criticism about the rambling nature of my reviews, but I usually thought that I structured them kind of in the same way. So what I would do is give a very quick overview, spoiler-free overview of the plot, and then I will discuss things like plot, character, world building, magic system, and then pet peeves that I had reading the book, and then my overall impression. That's roughly how I usually run all of my reviews. And maybe if I can be bothered, I will add little flashing text here while I do the comment, so you know which section roughly I am in. So, I put my notes there. Let's get going. The Great Hunt takes off exactly where Eye of the World left off. So, we start with Rand receiving fencing, sword fighting lessons from Lan, the warder, and finding himself the reluctant hero of the ages, Dragon Reborn person that he is. The book is called The Great Hunt because our heroes go on the Great Hunt for the Horn of Valere. It's a mythical artifact. It's a horn that, when blown, recalls the dead heroes of the past to fight in the final battle against the Dark Lord. So roughly, that's what the book is. Our party is split, okay? So the boys, Rand, Perrin, and Matt, go on this quest for the mythical Horn of Valere, and the girls, so Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine, now Elaine is part of the party, the princess, queen-to-be, has joined them, are off to Tar Valon to be trained as the powerful wizards, the Aes Sedai, however that is pronounced. So we have a party split. And that's roughly the plot, because if I want to keep it spoiler-free, can't say much more. Now, world building. World building is okay. It continues. It introduces us to some new aspects of this sprawling world. So we find a bit more of the magic. So there are these magic alleyways, passages that allows people to travel long distances in short periods of time. So there's a bit of that. We encounter kind of new nations, new civilizations. But it's all relatively generic, I would say. There's nothing really exciting there, nothing to call home, excited about, urging people to read The Eye of the World so far, in my opinion. The magic system still remains largely unidentified. I think I did a bit of very minor background reading prior to starting Eye of the World. And apparently, in the Wheel of Time, the magic system is quite structured. It was kind of the first hard magic system, or this is how I understand it. But so far, don't know much about it. We know the wizards are called Aes Sedai. Apparently, they organize themselves in different colors, but that's about it. And we know there's a male and a female sort of side of the one power, which is what people channel and use. But that's about it. We know very little yet. There hasn't been a lot of exposition so far, which on the one hand I'm grateful for, because in the past I've called for hard magic systems to be introduced in a more natural way rather than in a long exposition contrived scene in the book. But being honest here, we are about over 1,500 pages into the world and we still don't know much about the magic system. So it would be nice to have a bit more of it. But anyway, so far it hasn't been called for, so I'm okay with that. The next point I want to talk about is character. I've got a bit of an issue here with the trade-off between plot and character with the Wheel of Time so far. Let me elaborate. So, in Book 2, The Great Hunt, we start off with Rand being this kind of sex god thing, for want of a better expression. No, the book is not sexy. It doesn't go there. There's no HBO titty here. But for some reason, at the beginning of the book, all the women want to be with Rand. They want Rand. Rand is a wanted man. He's the kind of man I wish I was, but I'm not. For some reason, all the girls want to be with him. Don't know why. Because we really haven't been given much of a reason why. I don't know. Maybe it's the reluctant hero thing. I don't know. Whatever. All the chicks dig him. The other boys, Mat and Perrin, I think remain somewhat underdeveloped throughout the book. I couldn't bring myself to care for Mat. Mat is in dire straits. He's in terrible danger. He could die. But guess what? I don't care. Because I haven't been made to care for Mat, other than apparently he's one of the main characters. That's not a reason enough for me to really care for him. Perrin looks cool. Perrin's got potential. Perrin has got macho hero potential. There's something going on there that looks kind of cool, awesome type thing, in a ever so slightly tropey way. But yeah, probably out of the three main characters, Perrin is the more interesting one. The girls remain fairly generic and at times rather girly. They kind of look like the teenage girls I teach every day, talking about boys, discussing boys in a fairly non-adult, pure, juvenile sort of way. So the books are mostly plot-driven. I think my impression, I could be wrong. If I'm really wrong, please tell me why. Don't tell me I haven't been paying attention to the book. Some people do. I don't mind discourse. I don't mind disagreement if we can have a proper conversation. So if you think I'm wrong, that's perfectly fine. You can say so, you can write it, you can comment all you want, but tell me why. So I think the book is plot, to the point where I think the characters lack agency. They just go places because it's expected of them, because people tell them that that's what they have to do. You have to go there. We have to go there. Why? Plot says so. The wheel weaves as the wheel wills. Check that out for a non-English speaker. Basically, the Wheel of Time must be the wheel moves. It weaves this great pattern. It must be a sort of metaphor for destiny there. So everything is destined. The wheel wills it, and because of that, you guys have to go here and do this and that and the other. And they don't. Their own interests, their own wants and needs are basically unexplored. No one cares. You have to go there, you have to do this, and they do. So at times I think that can be a bit plot wholly, I suppose. Like you know, why do I care about this character? Where's the conflict? Where's the inner turmoil that drives them? For instance, the girls, they're going to be trained as Aes Sedai, but they keep saying that they don't trust the Aes Sedai. Nobody in this world, nobody trusts the wizards. Nobody trusts the Aes Sedai. The girls say they don't like them. They don't want to have anything to do with them, but they still want to go and be trained as Aes Sedai. Why? Because the plot says that that's what they have to do. And I don't know. I think that there's something missing there. I think the character development is missing. To the point where, again, Rand has got a whiff of the Mary Sue's, Garry's too, I suppose. Yes, he's in training with the sword a little bit with Lan, but then at the end of the book, he's got an encounter with this sword master buddy confrontational guy, and he just defeats him like that. We haven't seen Rand ever fight anyone before, kill anyone before, and then he matches and fights this sword master thing because he's the hero, because the plot says so. So, you know, I don't know, a bit screechy there, in my opinion. There are some attempts at creating tension, but to me they fell a bit flat. So, again, because characters just do what people tell them to do. So the girls, they get into a bit of a pickle towards the end of the book. And it's literally because someone rocks up to them and goes, "Girls, follow me." And they go, "Okay." And they just follow, and they end up in a big mess. But don't worry, because it's all sorted out at the end of the book. There's no tension. So it's kind of, the narrative is split very much into, we deal with the boys, we follow the boys go places, do this, and now the girls go places, the girls do this, and perhaps my personal preference would have been nice to sustain that narrative tension, to intersperse the chapters from the different parties kind of better, so that, you know, it's the oldest trick in the book. And as the killer is about to stab in the back, cut to different scene, and then we come back to it and sort of explore it like that, hold my attention a little bit better, make me intrigued to read through the next chapter, so then I can get to the next bit of what's going to happen to the girls, but you leave me in a cliffhanger with the boys. I want to continue doing that sort of thing. So I found that missing and wanting and lacking in the books. So as I was saying, Rand, bit of a Garry's too. So the sword fight, all done, you know, with a bit of training at the beginning, he's good enough to defeat some army general. All the girls want him for some reason that we don't know, and everyone calls him Lord. Now he's Lord Rand because he's just wearing a fancy coat. In this book, he's got a fancy coat. Someone gives him a fancy coat to wear. He's Lord Rand. Everyone treats him as a lord. All the chicks dig him. He's a cool fencing dude. Bit of a Garry's too there. Again, I thought lacking character development. The books seem to be plot, action. Which brings me to the next final part of my review of the book so far, and is Robert Jordan's writing style. I was aware a lot of people have criticized him for being rather repetitive in his writing. I can sort of see that. There's been already quite a few times where he's described characters, Matt in particular, in exactly the same way. And he's described Perrin again to us in exactly the same way over the first two books. There may have been reasons why, as the books were being published sequentially years apart. But then, no one is going to pick book 2 or book 3 unless they picked book 1 or 2. So possibly you are writing for a reader already familiar with your story, so maybe you don't need to do that. I don't know. There's a bit of that, and then, oh my god, this bit here, I just couldn't. I don't know. This was a well fuck moment. Like, well fuck is this. So, in the Wheel of Time universe world, when people train with the sword, they learn what they call forms. Okay, so there's no double-handed forward / parry thing. No, forms. They're meant to evoke. So very metaphorical. And let me read to you how the final confrontation between Rand and the army general reads like. And then maybe you guys in the read along, once you got to this part, did you have the same reaction I did? Did this do it for you? So, as I said, forms. They fight in forms. There's no slashing, hacking, parrying, stabbing. No. Here we go. He recognized the forms the High Lord used. They were a little different from what he had been taught, but not enough. The swallow takes flight met parting the silk. Moon on the water met the wood grouse dances. Ribbon in the air met stones falling from the cliff. They moved about the room as in a dance, and their music was steel against steel. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why is this a sword fight, or is it something from Beast behaving badly? What are we actually talking about here? What the fuck is this? I don't know. And if there's gonna be a lot of this, I'm gonna be annoyed. That's not how you describe a sword fight. That's not cool action. I don't understand. I don't understand. Finally, maybe I missed something here. I'm willing to admit this time that maybe I missed something here. But the world that the action takes place, I don't know. Things are happening. Like everyone is at war against everyone else in Book 2. All these nations that we know very little about are at war with each other. Don't know why. I'm assuming because there's all these false dragons, all these people claiming to be the dragon, all these. But why? What are the motivations? Why all these countries fighting, all these nations, factions fighting each other? Why is that? All of a sudden, at the end of the book, some people we never heard of before arrive and attack. And there's a fight. And there is a betrayal. Someone betrays the boys, but they get redeemed. But guess what? Don't care. Because again, back to the whole lack of character development, I don't care that someone that I really haven't been formally following, formally introduced, that I haven't got any emotional involvement with, betrays the boys. Not that he betrays the boys, but that he gets redeemed. I don't care for that redemption because I don't care about that character. That is the problem. In the same way that someone betrays the girls, I don't feel that betrayal because that character was a plot convenience to move the girls from A to B and put them into the next action piece. I think there is little setup, and therefore the payoffs don't quite work for me. Now, I don't want to get too hung up on the negatives. These are just the things that I pick up as I read the book. I don't think the books are perfect. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're great either. I am enjoying them so far. I'm reading them. I'm already almost halfway through Dragon Reborn, book 3. So I don't think I'm going to stop reading the books. But this wow factor, why is this the second, third highest selling fantasy series of all time? I'm still to find out. Which brings me back to my final piece of the puzzle. What has Brexit got to do with this? Well, the reason is, my books in English, I got them from Amazon UK and shipped them over to Spain, where I live. But now, because Britain has left the European Union, it's like some sort of international shipment thing that needs to happen, where you have to pay extra taxes, excises, duties on the border. So I ordered the second batch of books 6 to 10, and 2 weeks after ordering them, payment hadn't even been taken. So now I'm trolling through the internet, through the different Amazon websites, all the different places to figure out where I can get the rest of the books at a reasonable price. Because it doesn't look like I'm going to be visiting the UK anytime soon. I cannot even leave the town I am in. I'm confined. I'm locked in during weekends. So I can only go to work during the week. Weekends, I'm stuck at home. So it's going to be interesting, but it is going to happen. Anyway, this is all I have for today, which is already clocking out over 20 minutes. So my apologies, but I hope that you understand where I'm coming from. I hope that you agree or disagree with me. And if you do so, leave comments. Let me know why. What have I missed? What have I not missed? Does this make sense or not? But overall, okay, it's an enjoyable read. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Eternally grateful. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for everything. Please, 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 as usual, take lots of care. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time. Bye.